The secrets of some of the most ancient, iconic structures of our country. It says the temple flag flies opposite to the direction of the wind.
Every time a barge has sat on that Patit Pavan Bana, the flag, something bad has happened. जिस दिन जनरल रावत का एक्सीडेंट हुआ उसका 2 दिन पहले ही बाज बैठा. जिस दिन उड़ीसा में वो भयंकर ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट हुआ, कोलिशन हुआ, 1 या 2 दिन पहले ऐसा ही कुछ हुआ था. It is a protector also. I'll tell you. In 1999, when the super cyclone hit Odisha, at 11 o'clock in the night, very few servitors who were present inside the temple saw a blue light going out from the Neela Chakra towards the sea. You won't believe it. And the landfall happened in Kendrapada, not in Puri.
What is Brahma Padarth exactly?
It is Krishna's navel, as per Kanda Puran and Niladri Mahodaya. When Krishna was cremated by Arjuna, his navel didn't burn. Look at the scientific aspect of it. If you burn a human body, the mortal remains, the nabhi, the navel doesn't burn. जब सुनामी आया, अब हनुमान जी का काम है उसको रोकना, इसलिए उनको बेड़ी हनुमान बोलते हैं. But somehow समुंदर bridged, came inside and broke the sea front very badly. उस दिन रात को गर्भगृह से एक थप्पड़ का आवाज आया था. Belief is Jagannath slapped the king of Samudra.
Surya Roy is a technologist, cultural heritage conservationist and researcher whose work bridges Indic history, archaeology and the preservation of ancient knowledge systems. He serves as director for North India operations at IHAR, a Houston-based NGO dedicated to India's cultural heritage, and is a life member of INTACT and associate member of ICOMOS, a UNESCO body of global cultural conservation. Appointed by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee as a desk reviewer,
The cheetah has one particular diamond which is undercover. उसको चंदन का प्रलेप लगा के रखते हो. That diamond is so strong. It is so strong that if any human wears it, will melt. Shri Jagannath's original name is actually Shri Purushottam. The concept of Jagannath, the name of Jagannath came at a much later. Prior to that, it was Madhav or Purushottam. One of the invasions was done to loot the treasury. There have been incidences that although the name is of a Mughal emperor, Jahangir, but the lutera who actually came and raided the temple was a Rajput.
Wow. Are there any tantric practices or practices of occult that have ever been associated with the Jagannath Temple?
Daily nitis which happen, particularly the ones in the evening, are absolutely tantric in nature. Jaydev Goswami, when he was composing the Gita Govinda, tells his wife Padmavati, I'm going for my bath, you prepare the food. He takes a break from writing because he is not able to decide whether he should write that verse or not. What verse? The verse Shri Krishna comes down to the charan of Shri Radha and does his seva. ये तो खतरनाक चीज है.
Correct.
As per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you are unable to have a darshan of Jagannath, have a darshan of the Neela Chakra. Because Neela Chakra is a Dashavatar darshan. That banyan tree is even there today. इतने लाखों करोड़ों लोग जाते हैं, लेकिन इस banyan tree के बारे में किसी को नहीं मालूम.
his research spans Brajmandal, Kalinga, Kurukshetra and the Jagannath culture, and was recently featured in a Ministry of Culture documentary on Yamuna and Brajmandal. We are delighted to welcome him for the very first time on the Body to Beiing podcast, Mr. Surya Roy.
Suddenly in that crowd, from where an old lady appears. उसको भी जगन्नाथ दर्शन करना है. I holded her by her ribs. She disappeared within seconds.
Namaste, Surya ji.
Namaste.
Thank you for joining and being a part of Body to Being. When my team interacted with you, one of the first things that you told my team was that what I will be offering, the viewers will be blown away by it. So we're all ears. In today's podcast, we'd like to dive and uncover some of the hidden truths, the mysteries, the secrets of some of the most ancient, iconic structures of our country, which are the ancient temples. So where do we begin from, Surya ji?
We can start from the Shri Jagannath Temple.
Perfect.
Because the Jagannath Yatra has just been concluded. And I think this is the right time to discuss on it, and especially given the fact that there are so many mysteries and legends associated with Jagannath Mahaprabhu.
Suraj, I have a few questions for you on Jagannath. These are very popular questions that we asked a couple of people on Jagannath. These are some mysteries, you can say some maybe hidden truths that people don't know of. it's actually a mystery. I don't know whether it is a mystery or not, but it says the temple flag flies opposite to the
Yeah, it
direction of the
does.
wind,
It
which
does.
defies the laws of science.
It,
Is there
it
any
is.
is there any logical explanation to that
There's
as per
no
you?
logical explanation. There's no logical explanation. Every time a barge has sat on that Patit Pavan Bana, the flag that you are saying, it is called the Patit Pavan Bana, it has either flown off, it has got burnt or damaged partially. If any bird has
Yeah.
set over there, something bad has happened.
Okay.
Something bad has happened. It is my own experience also. But it is equally powerful. It is not only a module of signage of good or bad what's going to happen, but it is a protector also. How a protector, I'll tell you. In 1999, when the super cyclone had hit
Yeah.
Orissa and almost 30,000 people perished, the cyclone was to make a landfall on Puri. It was supposed to make a landfall on Puri. But at 11 o'clock in the night, very few servitors who were present inside the temple saw a blue light going out from the Neela Chakra towards the sea. Won't believe
Wow.
it. विद्युत की तरह निकल गया वो. And the landfall happened in Kendrapada,
Not in that close
not in
relatives.
Puri. जिस दिन जनरल रावत का एक्सीडेंट हुआ, सीडीएस रावत
Yeah,
साहब
Vipin
का,
Rawat. Yeah.
उसका 2 दिन पहले ही बाज बैठा था उसके ऊपर. जिस दिन उड़ीसा में वो भयंकर ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट हुआ, कोलिशन हुआ, उसका भी ऐसा ही 1 या 2 दिन पहले ऐसा ही कुछ हुआ था. मुझे जितना याद आ रहा है, 3 साल पहले की कहानी है. ऐसे हुआ था. बिफोर द कोविड सेकेंड वेव, द पतित पावन बना had flown away by heavy, aggressive wind speed. And then after that, the second wave had come. So it is true that whenever anything bad happens for the nation, this does take place. Till date, there's every day वो पतित पावन बाना चेंज होता है शाम को 4 बजे. There are servitors climbing up. Those class of servitors, their job is to change the bana. That is their only job. And for generations, they're doing it. Till date, there has been not a single accident that somebody has fallen from there. कौन रक्षा करता है उनका? ना उनके पास कोई क्लाइंबिंग इक्विपमेंट्स होता है जैसे माउंटेनियर्स ट्रेकिंग में होता है, ना कोई बूट होता है. सिर्फ एक धोती पहन के कंधे में बाना को लेके टट 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 करके चला जाता है ऊपर, टक 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 करके उसको डाल के ले आता है पुराना बाना को लेके. कभी भी नहीं हुआ.
Super.
कभी भी नहीं
Yeah.
हुआ. और मैं आपको ये भी बात बता दूं, आज जिस जगह पे मंदिर के अंदर वो जगह भी है जहाँ पे कृष्ण और अर्जुन ने माधव का दर्शन किया था, नीला माधव का दर्शन किया था, वो जगह भी मंदिर के अंदर है. बट आई विल नॉट डेलिबरेटली टेल दिस बिकॉज पीपल विल रश देयर. आई नो आफ्टर दिस.
But you'll tell me behind the scenes.
Of course, I'll tell you. But I'll show you if you go with me in Puri, because I'll have to show you physically and explain you. क्योंकि एक होता है दर्शन करना, बिना ज्ञान का दर्शन करना, और दूसरा होता है ज्ञान के सहित दर्शन करना.
Absolutely.
तो इनमें फर्क होता है
Yeah.
बहुत.
You know, the next interesting thing that we came across in our research was that the temple never casts a shadow regardless of the sun's position.
ये भी सही है.
No reason at all, right?
There is, in spite of the sea being there,
Yeah.
although there is Kanpata Hanuman whose job is to
Yeah.
stop the rowers going in and all that, but जब सुनामी आया था तब भी नहीं का आवाज गया था अंदर तक.
Uh-huh.
बट एक थप्पड़ का आवाज आया था अंदर से.
What is the joke here?
जब सुनामी आया तो समुंदर, अब हनुमान जी का काम है उसको रोकना, इसलिए उनको बेड़ी हनुमान बोलते हैं. बेड़ी डाल के बिठा के रखा है, समुंदर तक आ नहीं पाए. पंच महावीर है, महावीर का पंच रूप है उधर पुरी में. हर एक का अलग अलग काम है. कानपाता हनुमान जो है उसका काम है समुंदर का आवाज को रोकना, सैंक्टम सैंक्टोरियम के अंदर नहीं आए ताकि प्रभु का नींद खराब ना हो. बेड़ी हनुमान उसका काम है वो समुंदर किनारे बैठा हुआ है चक्र तीर्थ के वहां पे. चक्र तीर्थ इज द प्लेस वेयर द लॉग्स हैड फर्स्ट कम, द फर्स्ट लॉग्स व्हिच हैड कम हिस्टोरिकली. वहां पे रुकाओ, वहीं पे रोक देंगे समुंदर को. बट समहाउ समुंदर ब्रिज्ड in times of tsunami, came inside and broke the sea front very badly. आज तो खैर रिपेयर हो गए इतने सालों बाद. बट मैंने वो देखा है, वो भी देखा है, टूटा पड़ा है, मैंने देखा है अपनी आंखों से। उस दिन, जिस दिन हुआ था, उस दिन रात को गर्भगृह से एक थप्पड़ का आवाज आया था। कौन किसको मारा ये मैं नहीं बोलूंगा कैमरा पे, क्योंकि लोग मेरे को खा जाएंगे फिर। लेकिन बट मान्यता यही है, द बिलीफ इज जगन्नाथ स्लैप्ड समुद्र, द किंग ऑफ समुद्र, समुद्र राज को. That was the second time he got angry with him. The first time was when he put the Brahmastra to dry him up while crossing over to Lanka, and this was the second time. Similarly, one of the beautiful aspects, archaeological aspects or iconographic aspect of Jagannath Temple is the Neela Chakra.
Okay.
As per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his advice to all those, he can be of any faith, that if you are unable to have a darshan of Jagannath, have a darshan of the Neela Chakra. Because the darshan of the Neela Chakra is a Dashavatar darshan. It is equivalent to Dashavatar darshan. How beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
In the year 2016, I had suffered a shoulder dislocation. And in January, I went to Puri with my family. And I was wearing a shoulder support. A shoulder support is, which is from here till here, it will hold you tightly, a belt, so that my doesn't dislocate.
Yeah.
Just a precautionary measure. I was standing in the Nata Mandap and having a darshan, because darshan from Jagmohan was closed that time. The Jai Vijay Dwar was open, and through that we were having darshan. Suddenly in that crowd, from where an old lady appears. So old, should be 90, that she has bent like this. ऐसा एक स्टिक पकड़ के ऐसा बेंट हो गया है. वो आके मेरे बाजू में खड़ा हुआ. उसको भी जगन्नाथ दर्शन करना है और कोई उसको पूछ नहीं रहा है, क्योंकि सबको अपनी अपनी दर्शन करना पड़ा हुआ है. ऑब्वियसली मैं उसको ऐसे देखा, मैं देख के समझ में आ गया मुझे क्या हो रहा है. आई गॉट अ whiff ऑफ इट. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया, एंड बिलीव मी, दिस इज द पावर ऑफ जगन्नाथ दैट आई एम सेइंग. मेरा शोल्डर डिसलोकेट हुआ है 3 महीना पहले. इट हैज हैपेंड इन अगस्त एंड दिस इज जनवरी. 4 महीना हुआ है मुश्किल से. मैंने बुढ़िया को बोला, माता जी आइए मेरे पास, स्टैंडिंग, आइए मैं आपको दर्शन कराता हूँ. आई होल्डेड हर बाय हर रिब्स, आई लिफ्टेड हर. ऐसा लिफ्ट करा के मैंने उसको पकड़ के रखा. अरे ले दर्शन कर, जितना देर तक करना है. वो रो रहा था. दर्शन करवाया वहीं पे, जो उसको प्रणाम करना था उसी हालत में, इन दैट सस्पेंशन मोड, इन दैट एयर सस्पेंशन मोड. मैंने उसको नीचे कर दिया. फिर दर्शन हो गए, नीचे कर दिया. शी डिसअपीयर्ड इन विद इन सेकंड, स्प्लिट ऑफ अ सेकंड.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
This is the first time I'm saying this in front of camera.
Unbelievable.
Where did such strength come from?
Did
I
she just
trained-
disappear in your hand? I'm just trying to process. She just disappeared in your hand?
Not in my hands. The moment I put her down,
हाँ.
I said, लो अपना हाथ पकड़ो करके. मैं अपना बेटे को देखने जा रहा था कि वो ठीक है कि नहीं, because I had lost my attention towards him in that crowd. After I told, हाँ ठीक है, गायब. 2013, I was traveling by Purushottam Express 2 days before Rath Yatra, and in the train I suffered of severe food infection. Coming, going. हालत खराब. जब तक पूरी पहुंचा, हालत खराब. Took ORS and lied down. One day ahead of Rath Yatra, so let's say 27th is the Rath Yatra, I reached on 25th in that condition. So 25th I was on bed, recharging myself with ORS. 26th, one day ahead of Rath Yatra, the Rath chariots are pulled. It is called Dakshina Mor. Chariots are pulled from the Rathakala, from where it is prepared, and brought it and placed in front of the temple, from where they begin their journey towards Gundicha. So I was pulling the chariots along with the security forces. And I was very weak because of whatever happened. Suddenly, इसलिए मैंने बोला आपको, दर्शन बिना ज्ञान का और दर्शन ज्ञान के साथ. So ज्ञाना is the first stage to bhakti, the bedrock of bhakti. I just looked up, I remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words that have a darshan of the Neela Chakra, it gives you the punya of the Dasavatar, having a darshan of Dasavatar. Looked up, I said कि प्रभु मुझे बस तेरी असीम शक्तियों से मुझे इतना शक्ति दे दे कि मैं अगला 3 दिन तेरा रथ को खींच सकूं. करके मैं बोल के भूल गया एंड आई स्टार्टेड पुलिंग. मैंने उस दिन, आज भी याद है मुझे, तीनों रथ को खींचा, और जो बलदेव का रथ होता है तालत ध्वज, दैट इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट, बिकॉज जो पुरी का ज्योग्राफी है वो टर्न करता है ऐसे और एक्सट्रीम कॉर्नर में आके बैठता है, और उसको एंड तक खींच के ले जाना पड़ता है एंगल में ठीक तरह से बिठाने के लिए. दिस अ मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट उसका पुलिंग. और जब स्टार्ट करता है वही, और इस बार भी स्टैम्पेड हुआ था, वहीं पे हुआ था, प्रॉब्लम हुआ था. देयर इज अ टेक्निक, पुलिंग का भी एक टेक्निक होता है, सबको नहीं मालूम होता है वो. इवन द फोर्सेस डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड. एनीवेज, जब मैं उसको छोड़ दिया, खींचना वगैरह सब कंप्लीट हो गया, तो दिमाग आउट हो जाता है, खींचना बंद हो गया. एंड इधर ऐसे ऐसे हो गया था मेरा मसल्स. इट स्टेड देयर फॉर एग्जैक्टली 3 days. When I boarded the train and it crossed the limits of Bhubaneswar, not Puri but Bhubaneswar, it started normalizing. Divinity starts where science ends. That is all I want to say.
Beautiful. One thing that we have established from at least the yogic perspective is that the Jagannath temple, much like many other temples, is not just a structure. These are very powerful energy machines, right? When you look at the idol, the Jagannath idol, right?
An incomplete deity.
An incomplete deity. So there is, I believe, there are no hands, there are no limbs, right? On a wooden, you just have the eyes carved out on, I think, a neem wood it is, right? There's a neem wood and the eyes only have been carved out.
Daru Brahma. It is called Daru
Okay.
Brahma, D-wood.
Okay. Why do you think that is the case? I'll tell you what I think from the yogic perspective. I think that the Lord of Jagannath is the Lord of the Jaga. You know, he symbolizes universality, formlessness, divine, which is beyond perception, which is beyond limbs, which is beyond what any of us imagine.
The Advaita Vedanta theory.
Right? Limitless consciousness. But wo hi kyun? Why don't we have any other deities like that? That's my first question.
As I said in
Yeah.
the beginning, Jagannath culture or the deity of Jagannath is an assimilation of multi-faith. You have the Shaiva, Shakta, Vaishnav, Jain, Buddhist, and then the Advaita Vedanta also. As you rightly said, limitless, Ananta, Jagataranath. If I look at the deity, why it is like that,
Yeah.
there are two ऐतिहासिक or itihasic event that are mentioned in the Skanda Puran Utkal Parva or the Niladri Mahodaya, stating where when the neem woods were under sculpting by Vishwakarma, some say Vishwakarma, some say Narayan himself, the Rani Gundicha, she got worried and pushed the King Indradumna to open the gates and find out what is going on. And when he went, he found these incomplete deities, and then Akashvani happened that this is the form that I deserve or I wish to be worshipped. The other story which comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where when one day in Dwarka, Yashoda Maya was telling the Gopikas the stories of Vraj Leela, that by closing the doors, okay, that these three brothers, sisters were passing by the room and they heard that Braj Leela is being discussed from behind the doors, and they started melting over there. And in that meantime, Narada arrives over there, Narad Muni, and he sees this beautiful formless, Rupa of Sri Krishna and his brothers and sisters, and he is fascinated. And that is when Narada Muni is being advised that in Kali Yuga, I will be worshipped in this form as Jagannath. So these are the two theories primarily which goes inside behind these two deity, this form of deity.
Okay.
So basically, if I have to decode that, what I need to explain to the audience is Shri Jagannath Mahaprabhu, or the culture of Jagannath culture as we say, that is comprising of multi-faith in the sense that within the pantheon of Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma, the Shaivas find Bhairav within him, the Shaktas find the Kali or the Shakti essence in him, and the Vaishnavas obviously look at him as Krishna. Then there is the Buddhism. The Buddhists actually see the essence of Mahaprabhu as Tathagata. Okay, and to
Which
that
is
extent, Tathagat
Tathagata's?
Buddha, the Buddha,
Okay.
the Shakyamuni. And the Brahma Padarth, which is much talked about these days in the internet, a lot many people speculate many things about it. The Brahma Padarth, as the Buddhists consider it as a relic of the Buddha. Then there are the Jains. The Jains consider him as the Tirthankara, Rishabhnath. Okay, and within Hinduism, but not uh, linked to the mainstream, I would say to that extent, but which is a culmination into Hinduism at a later date, is the idea of Jagannath being a tribal god, a tribal deity, which is Vriksha Devata Kitung. So the tribal god or the Vriksha Devata or a totem, you can say, is also now merged into the Jagannath culture. I will give you a few stories or historical events actually, which truly happened and which can give you a very good understanding of the essence of Jagannath Mahaprabhu, that why he so all inclusive,
Correct.
all inclusive, right? He comes out the only deity in India today, the original deity who comes out from the sanctum sanctorium right on the road to give darshan to his devotees. But in all other temples, you see there's the Utsav Vigraha which comes out, a smaller version, and
Correct.
they take it around, be it in Ujjain Mahakal or in Kashi Vishwanath or anywhere you see, or even Kedar or Badri. And of course, another factor which adds to the mystery is the series of 18 invasions, Islamic invasions, which happened in Jagannath Puri. Now, this is something which is not captured in the mainstream history today, that it is the temple which has suffered the most at the hands of the Islamic invaders, and not Somnath. It has even endured more invasions than Somnath.
Okay.
And the
But did it get
invasion.
affected?
Yes, yes, of
Okay.
course. That's how I'm going to tell you. And these 18 invasions, they were divided between Bengal Sultanate, Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughals. All came in. And there has been incidences also. That is how I keep telling that you should take history as it is, read history as it is. There have been incidences that although the name is of a Mughal emperor, Jahangir, but the Lutera who actually came and raided the temple was a Rajput.
Wow.
One of the invasions was done to loot the treasury, and bit of damage that was done was by Kalyan Mal, the son of Todar Mal.
My God.
Can you imagine
No, I
this?
can't.
So
But how is it
Todar,
not mentioned in the history
that's how
textbook?
history, we don't read history properly.
Or do you think it is easier to blame on the Firangs and say the Mughals did it? We didn't
It
do
is
it.
it is it is both ways. It is both ways. Even the Firangs who operated out of Orissa operated with the help of Indians who were in the police and the judiciary or even the administrative systems. When these invasions were happening, Jagannath Mahaprabhu used to be moved out of the temple. The deities used to be moved out of the temples and kept in places, hidden in places in the jungles and mountains of Chilka or in various other parts of Orissa, which still exist today. And there are temples, and the Rath Yatra is celebrated in those places. And today, if you go back to those places, you will understand why this mystic, this thing. Your god who disappears from your temple is moved by the priests and the Sevaits to a mountainous terrain surrounded by jungles and wild animals, and they are stored, they're kept and worshipped in utmost secrecy, and people are hunting them all around. It is such a fascinating
Yeah.
story, of courage, absolute raw courage, resilience, and sacrifice of the kings of those times, the soldiers who laid down their lives to protect the deities. I think the best story or best event that epitomizes the enigma of Jagannath is two events that I would specifically mention. The first is related to Bisir Mohanty, a Vaishnav called Visir Mohanty. So now the biggest Islamic onslaught which happened on Orissa, where temples after temples were desecrated, was by Kalapahar, the Afghan Pashtun commander of Bengal Sultan Suleiman Karani. He sent a mission under his son Baizad, assisted by, you know, Kalapahar. And it is twisted fact, and many people fall for the trap, that he was a Hindu Bengali who married a Muslim lady, and he was not allowed to enter, and thrashed badly at the Jagannath temple. So he tore off his paita, his thread, and converted into Islam, and then came back to seek his vengeance, but it's not true. He was a proper Afghan Pashtun Pathan, and this has been clarified time and again by historians like Jadunath Sarkar or R.C. Majumdar, or even in the recent times, I think by Dr. Meenakshi Jain also, if I correctly remember. But yes, definitely the earlier, previous two. Now, it was his invasion that gave the maximum structural blow to the current Jagannath temple structure.
Acha.
Okay, and even if you go today, you can find those remnants. And across Orissa, across Kaling or Utkal, or whatever you say, he desecrated multiple temples. Hundreds of temples he laid to wrath. So the Jajpur also was laid to wrath, you know. And while he was doing this, his invasion was preempted, information passed on to the servitors, and they had moved the deities to an island in Chilka.
But I have a question here. Why would they move the deities? Because
Otherwise,
energy. No, I understand. So that they
Brahma
don't.
Padarth, to save the Brahma Padarth.
Understood. So you're saying the energy was in the idols?
In the Brahma Padarth.
Okay. Because usually hota hai na that in the difference between what I know from the yogic.
See, the Kshetram, the energy in the Kshetram,
Yeah.
the Sri Kshetram or the Purushottam Kshetram,
Yeah.
that energy is there. But
Correct.
they were trying to save the Brahma Padarth. Like they're trying to
Understood.
save a Krishna deity,
Yeah.
like Govind Dev Ji.
Yeah.
They're trying to save the Brahma Padarth.
Okay.
Because anyways, Sri Jagannath gives up his body every 8, 12 or 19 years through Navakalevar process. Okay? But the Brahma Padarth is transferred from one body to another. That
Is
is...
it Pran Pratishtha? Okay.
Yeah, you can say it is Pran Pratishtha because the prana is in Brahma Padarth. So, and Kalapahar extracts the information somehow, lays siege on that area, place, takes out the deities and brings it to the Ganges, Bhagirathi, and decides to burn them. All this way, he was being followed by a Vaishnav called Bisir Mohanty. Kalapahar, as he set the idols to fire, he suffered a cardiac arrest.
That shows the power of the. Yeah.
Imagine. His son immediately pulled him away, and it is believed that he passed away within the next day. Within 24 hours, he passed away. And his son threw the burning deities, into the Ganges. Nadi mein fek diya. Bisir Mohanty followed the deities downstream as they were flowing to the Ganga. And wherever they came nearer to the shore, he retrieved those deities. Some say he retrieved it himself. Some say the fishermen caught hold of it and he liaised with the fishermen. So that part is there. But what is important here, he retrieved the deities and he took out the Brahma Padarths from there. And he put it in a mridang or a khol.
But how do you remove the Brahma Padarth? That's energy, no?
There's a process. There's a process to remove it. So he retrieved them and put it in a khol, mridang. Okay? And he carried it. And why did he put it in? Because that was the safest. Nobody will catch hold. कि ये वैष्णव है, बजा रहा है, अपना बाजा बजा रहा है, कोई मुगल उसको नहीं छेड़ेगा. वो लेके घूमते घूमते वो there's a place called Kujang. I don't remember which district it is. Kujang में पहुंचा, and the king at that point of time, I think Raja Ramchandra Dev of the Bhoi dynasty, he came to know about it, and within 6 months he came up with a temple. Within 6 months. In a similar way, the first attack which happened on Jagannath Temple somewhere around 8th century, and as per Sanjin copper plates, it was the Rashtrakuta king Govinda III who laid siege, primarily because of the treasury. The deities were taken away to a place called Sonpur. It was again on a hilltop, surrounded by dense forest, and inside a cave. They were buried. He stayed there for 144 years. For 144 years, after which Adi Sankaracharya came and took him out. The bodies were worn out, but the Brahma Padarth survived, and he consecrated the Brahma Padarth into new bodies. Now, if you look at the Puranas, the picture that you get of Shri Jagannath and his siblings is a different. You will see the fire is there, हवन हो रहा है, ब्रह्मा उसमें यज्ञ कर रहे, पहले श्री जगन्नाथ बैठे हुए, उनके पीछे सुभद्रा, उनके ऊपर बलराम, बड़ा ठाकुर बोलते हैं जिसको, बड़ा ठाकुर. But this rupa that you see today that left hand side Bharat Thakur, beach mein Subhadra, and then Jagannath. This formation or this arrangement was given by Adi Shankaracharya. Bhuje sakhya benu sirisi sikipuchang kati tate dukulang netrante sahachara katakshati vidavate Jagannath Swami nayana pathagami bhavatume. Shri Adi Shankaracharya, in his later years, to foster bhakti in the hearts of men and women, composed a number of hymns and verses. Jagannath Ashtakam is one of them. And the Mahisasur Mardini, which we sing as Aigiri Nandini,
Yeah.
Mahisasur Mardini is also one of them. Govinda Ashtakam,
Yeah. That's famous. Correct.
Govinda Ashtakam
Yeah.
was also by him. Jagannath Ashtakam was made famous by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if you really have to understand the Shri Jagannath culture, study Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because there has been no greater a devotee of Shri Jagannath than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the joint incarnation of Radha and Krishna in a single body. Till the time he was in Navadvip, it was his Krishna Roop, Krishna Tej. But once he came and stood and touched Shri Jagannath, the Krishna Bhav went out and the Radha Bhav went down. So the Radha Tattva, which comes in today, Radha is not found in Mahabharata. The gopis are found in Mahabharata. Radha's name will never found in Mahabharata.
Even in Bhagavad Purana, it's not mentioned. Radha's
It
name is
is
not mentioned.
it is not there in Harivansha also. Who gave a beautiful rendition of Radha Tattva? It was Jayadev Goswami through Gita Govinda. And the beautiful explanation of, Gita Govinda even today is why do we take this text as literary evidences of our history? One of the most important verses of Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda is mentioning about Kalindi, which is one of the names of Yamuna, is mentioning of various places of Braj, which are even existent today. A place called Dhir Samip. So one of the verses which says, Dhire Samipe Jamunaro Tire Basati Bane Banamali. Banamali is the name of Sri Krishna. Basati Bane means Banamali is waiting in the one. Waiting for whom? Waiting for Radha. So he is telling to one of the gopis that go and tell Sri Radha that Banamali is waiting for you in Dhir Samip, which is a place even today on the banks of Yamuna, near to Kesi Ghat. That is how the tapestry happens. And this is how the Radha Bhav comes into play. And this is validated, corroborated, sanctioned, approved by Sri Krishna himself. And how? The event it happened is Jayadev Goswami, when he was composing the Gita Govinda, Jayadev Goswami tells his wife Padmavati, who's equally a great woman, one of the greatest women of Indian Sanatan Dharma, not spoken much of, that I'm going for my bath, you prepare the food and I'll come back and have the food. Now, why he takes a break from writing? Because he is not able to decide whether he should write that verse or not. What verse? The meaning of the essence of the verse is Sri Krishna comes down to the charan of Sri Radha and does his seva to his charan. Krishna, how can he get down to the charan of Radha and hold her feet and do seva?
Yeah.
ये तो खतरनाक चीज है.
Correct.
So he was very afraid and very perplexed कि should I write this or not? He goes away. And suddenly Padmavati sees that he has come back within 5-10 minutes. क्या वो तुम अभी गए थे? नहीं, मैं इसको कंप्लीट करके फिर जाता हूँ. मेरे दिमाग में आ गया all that. So he sits down and writes it. And then he leaves. Then after half an hour, the real Jayadev comes back. He says कि बोले क्या हुआ तुम आ गए, अभी आके गए, फिर आ गए. नहीं, मैं तो कहाँ आया, मैं तो गया ही नहीं, मैं तो चला गया, जो तुम्हारे सामने वही गया, मैं कहाँ वापस आया. नहीं, कैसे हो सकता है, तुम गए और फिर आए और फिर लिख के गए. क्या लिख के गया, जो तुम्हारा खत्म नहीं हो रहा था. So he said, क्या बोल रहा है Padmavati? So he jumps into the manuscript and he sees that Dehi Pada Vallave. Dehi Pada Vallave, that Sri Krishna himself is writing that.
Oh, beautiful.
And his tears going down. बोले माधव खुद आके लिख के चले गए. And you are so lucky Padmavati, you had a darshan of Madhav himself. Dehi Padavallave.
Are there any tantric practices or practices of occult that have ever been associated with the Jagannath temple?
Yes, of course. Of course. Every day it happens. Many of the nitis, daily nitis which happen, particularly the ones in the evening, are absolutely tantric in nature.
Acha.
Because there is a Shakti, element of Jagannath Mahaprabhu. Because Ma Subhadra, Bala Thakur or Balaram is looked at as a manifestation of Ugratara. Jagannath is Dakshina Kali, and Subhadra is Bhairavi. The entire Shakti Tattva is there, and then there is the Vimla Mata temple, which is a Sati Peeth inside the
Correct.
temple. That is either there is a Kali Vigraha or there is a Bhairavi Vigraha.
Okay.
Bhairav Vigraha, or there is a Surya temple, there is a Rama temple, there is the Kalpavat, there is the Rohini Kund, there is the the Bal Gopal temple, but then there is Bada Jagannath, then Vimla temple, Lakshmi temple,
Okay.
Khichura Gopinath, and then Kanchi Ganesh, the beautiful deity of Kanchi Ganesh. And I must tell this story.
Yeah.
This is one very beautiful story and a historical proven story. So the Gajapati was Purushottam Dev that time, son of Kapilendra Dev Rautre, and he wanted to capture Kanchi. Okay, and Kanchi's state deity was Ganesh. Now, जैसा होता है, like he felt that he can conquer that kingdom, so he went. Normally, the Gajapatis, just like the Sisodiyas of Mewar, they act like Diwans of Sisodiyas of Mewar act like Diwans of Eklingji. They work like Diwans of Mahaprabhu. So if they are going for such an expedition, you're supposed to talk to Mahaprabhu, take his permission, and then go. And he will tell you whether to go or not. It also happens. So Purushottam Dev did not take the permission, straightway prepared his army, went, and got severely beaten back. Because Kanchi was under the patronage of Ganesh. He was a very powerful deity, Kanchi Ganesh. Very powerful deity. Now, he comes back heartbroken, and why did this happen? Because initially there were talks between the two kingdoms of Purushottam Dev marrying the princess of Kanchi. But when the prime minister of Kanchi comes here during Rath Yatra, he sees Purushottam Dev doing Chheda Poda.
What is
The jharu,
Okay.
doing the
Sweeping.
sweeping of the chariots. Even today it happens. This is one of the most important nitis of Rath Yatra. ऐसे ही झाड़ूदार को शादी से विवाह करेंगे, वो जाके बोला अपना महाराज को, महाराज ने कर दिया खारिज, नहीं होगा शादी. This guy got annoyed and he laid siege, got defeated. Okay, long and short of it, comes back heartbroken, speaks to his mother. His mother tells, तुम महाप्रभु के पास गए थे, उनका अनुमति लिए थे? नहीं. क्यों? किसने बोला था तुमको? जाओ आप महाप्रभु का अनुमति लो. So he goes and prays to Mahaprabhu and he gets a dream. Normally the Gajapati gets a dream. अब तुम जाओ, मैं तुम्हारे साथ हूँ. So he starts on the expedition. After he has gone to a certain extent, milk woman Gwalan appears in front of him. Who is the king? Who is the king? I want to meet him. Why? No, I have the king's anguti. अंगूठी महाराज का? हाँ. अच्छा. So the soldiers take him to Maharaj Purushottam Dev, and he says that, yes, tell me. Well, two of your soldiers had come to me riding on horses, and I gave them milk and kheer and all that. He took all my milk products, they ate. बहुत खाया उन्होंने, एक पैसा नहीं दिया, सिर्फ ये अंगूठी देके गया, बोला आप पीछे पीछे आ रहे हो, आप पेमेंट करोगे, लो जी अंगूठी दिखा देना, सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. अच्छा, दिखाओ अंगूठी. किंग इज पेट्रिफाइड, ये तो महाप्रभु का अंगूठी है. बोले कैसे लोग थे, कौन से सोल्जर्स थे? मेरा सेना तो इधर है मेरे साथ. बोले एक सादा सफेद घोड़े पे था, एक काला घोड़े पे था, एक कलुआ था, एक सफेद था. से काला ठाकुर हो ना, कृष्ण वर्णा. अच्छा, ठीक है. He understood whatever he had to understood. He understood that the two bosses are going before me. He pays off. So मान्यता यही है कि she was Sabri Mata. That milk woman was none other than Sabri Mata, reincarnation of Sabri Mata. he goes there and he says the army had already surrendered. So he goes and asks that how did all this happen? Bole, two of your soldiers came and defeated the entire army. How did they look like? Wahi Kala or Gora. So Mahaprabhu goes and fights and defeats them. And they bring back the Kanchi Ganesh. They bring back the daughter to take the daughter. इसको ले आता है बिकॉज राजा का गरूर है, मैं इसको बंदी बना अपना दासी बना के रखूंगा. और कांची गणेश को उठा के ले आता है. एंड कांची गणेश इवन टुडे इज प्लेस्ड बिहाइंड द फ्रंटल पोर्च और द सेंक्टम सेंक्टोरियम ऑफ जगन्नाथ टेम्पल, बैक डोर में. और आपका पश्चिम दरवाजे से आप अंदर आएंगे मंदिर में, तो ऑन द राइट साइड यू विल गेट द कांची गणेश.
Beautiful.
We will come back to the now Salabeg story.
Yeah.
The Salabeg story goes like this, and Salabeg's Samadhi today is there in Puri on the same pathway from Puri temple to the Gundicha temple. So Shri Mandir to Gundicha temple. On the pathway, there is a place called Balagandi, which is now known as Hospital Square or Medical Square. And his Samadhi is there, and the chariot even today stops for a certain amount of time to pay respect to Salabega. That is a tradition. And previously what used to happen, this Balagandi used to be a river. And there were 6 sets of chariots which were made that time. 3 चैरियट हाथी खींच के और भक्त लोग खींच के ले आते थे नदी के इस किनारे तक, बोट से डाइटिस को क्रॉस करवा के फिर दूसरे सेट ऑफ चैरियट से उनको अंदर ले जाया जाता था. So 6 chariots. This is well covered, mentioned, documented in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in all other Oriya texts as a piece of history, and even in Patachitras also. And elephants were used till 1970s also in pulling chariots or pushing the chariots from back. Now, Salabeg was the son of Mughal commander Lal Beg. There have been a lot of reels suddenly doing around on Salabeg. Ulta sulta history bata rahe. I will tell you the real factual history, what it is. Salabeg was the son of Mughal commander Lal Beg under Jahangir. Lal Beg is in one of his Mughal expeditions where he had laid siege on Jagannath Temple also in 1520s, I think, if I correctly remember, when Jahangir, after Akbar had reigned in. जैसा आज भी होता है, हिंदू नारियों के ऊपर इनका लालच तो होता ही है. And he found a beautiful Brahmin young lady taking bath in one of the ponds. He went after her. This lady was so terrified that I've seen that pond, I've gone there.
Okay.
This lady went and took shelter inside some temple, small temple, Gaon ka temple. This guy followed and they started talking, and he said that I love you and what मैं शादी करना चाहता हूँ and all that stuff. So ultimately the lady understood that she has to give in, because otherwise उस time तो ऐसा ही था सब.
Correct. Yeah.
And then he said that okay, I will marry you, but one शर्त है मेरा, मुझे अपना धर्म का पालन करने से कोई नहीं रोक सकता. I will do my Jagannath puja. She was an ardent devotee of Shri Jagannath. They got married. And Salabeg came into the picture. So now when she conceived, she was very sad one day. Obviously, it was against her will, although she was allowed to practice her religion. She was crying and praying to Jagannath, kya mera kya hoga? Then Jagannath appeared in his dreams and told him that I will bless you with a son whose name will be written in golden words even when you are gone, he is gone, and much after that. So mother pacified. The child was born, but he grew up under his father's influence and his religion. He grew up as a tyrant, killing, murdering, going on expeditions with his father, enjoying killing the Kafirs. One of those expeditions, he gets severely injured, fatally, and he's on the deathbed. Salabeg. He calls for his mother कि माँ क्या हो गया, देखो मैं मरना नहीं चाहता हूँ इतना young umar mein. So mother says, pray to Shri Jagannath. Only he can save you. So this man starts praying to Shri Jagannath. And Jagannath gives him a darshan in his dream and says कि तुम अच्छे हो जाओगे, then go to Braj for your sadhana. ठीक हो जाता है. in month's time. His wounds heal, and he takes to Braj and does severe penance over there, becomes a Vaishnav, and starts writing literary works. Ahe Nila Saila is the most famous of his works, a bhajan which is sung in honor of Shri Jagannath during Rath Yatra and even in normal times. And there are, the song has been immortalized by Sri Bhikari Bala, one of the eminent bhajan artists of Bharat and Odisha. In the recent time, Madam Namita Agarwal has also sung it. That is also a beautiful rendition. And Salabeg, now what happens? Salabeg comes back during Puri during Rath Yatra. And he wants to have a darshan, but he's not well. So by that, somewhere around Sakhi Gopal he is, and he is not able to walk. He's stretching himself on the road, and he comes to know that Rath Yatra has started. So praise to Shri Jagannath that प्रभु मेरे को दर्शन दे दो, मैं तुम्हारे दर्शन के बिना मर जाऊंगा, बिना रथ में दर्शन करे हुए मैं मर जाऊंगा, मैं अपना जान दे दूंगा. And he prays in his own way. The chariot, after coming to Balagandi, stops there, and nobody is able to move the chariot forward or take down the vigrahas, and nothing is happening. He becomes very heavy. And after 3 days, this person reaches, and the Gajapati Maharaj gets a dream that this Bhakt, whose name is Salabeg, will come for my darshan, and then only I will move. Salabeg comes after 3 days. It takes him 3 days to reach and has a darshan, and then the Rath chariot starts moving. And in his honor, Salabeg Samadhi is there. He was given a place to stay in Puri, just like Bandu Manti or Guru Nanak. So apart from the Hindus, Sikhs are the only faith who are allowed inside the temple.
Yeah, why don't they allow other faiths?
They don't allow faith because of the desecration and invasions that has happened. Sikhs are the only people who are allowed, and that is because of Guru Nanak. And this event is not known.
And Jains also, I'm assuming, right?
No.
No? Why? What is the problem?
No
with
Jains, no Buddhists, only Hindus and Sikhs.
But Jains and Buddhists ne kya bigada tha?
Buddhists were occupying that site.
Okay.
Adi Shankara recovered that site from the Buddhist.
Right.
Because when Adi Shankar had appeared on the scene of Bharatvarsh, India had seen 1200 years of extreme Vajrayana Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism.
Okay.
Even there was an attempt on the life of Adi Shankar through the Tantric Buddhists.
Okay. Acha.
फिस्टुला कर दिया था उनका. हाँ, ब्लीडिंग हो रहा था कंटिन्यूअस. नरसिम्हा saved him. Adi Shankar ko.
Oh.
Yeah. Then there is the incident of Bandu Manti. One of my favorite Jagannath devotee story. Bandu Manti was a resident of Jajpur, and those days famines were a regular feature in India, right? That point of time. And that particular year also, Orissa was ravaged by famine. And no food, 3 kids, nothing to eat. So, and he being a Jagannath devotee, his wife one day challenges him. ये बीवी लोग बड़े परेशान करते हैं यार कई बार. Just on a lighter note. He says कि तुम्हारा तो तुम बोलते थे एक दोस्त है पुरी में जिसके पास जाओ तो खाने पीने का कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगा. अभी कहाँ है तुम्हारा दोस्त? बोले है ना. बोले तो चलो. क्या कर रहे हो इधर बैठ के? बच्चों का सोच के तो चलो. अच्छा चलो. चलते हैं. और जब बंधु मानती जाजपुर से निकलते हैं इसके लिए पुरी के लिए, मन ही मन में बोल रहा है प्रभु मेरी रक्षा कर लेना, मेरी मान रख लेना. जाते हैं. अब छोटे लोग हैं, शेड्यूल ट्राइब, उन सब जैसे फार्मर्स. मंदिर में तो घुसने नहीं मिलता इनको. मार मुंह के धक्का दुक्का देके इनको निकाल देते हैं. That man is hungry, his kids are hungry, wife is hungry, all of them are hungry. And then they are resting on the south gate under a banyan tree. That banyan tree is even there today. इतने लाखों करोड़ों लोग जाते हैं, लेकिन इस बनियान ट्री के बारे में किसी को नहीं मालूम कि उसका क्या महत्व है.
Yeah, there's a huge banyan tree, I remember. Yeah. That banyan tree, na? That
साउथ गेट में जो है, दक्षिण द्वार. और उसका ऑपोजिट में उसको घर मिला था, राजा ने दिया था. एनीवेज, लेट मी कम टू दैट ओरिजिनल इवेंट. क्या होता है, रात को भूखा पेट वो लोग सो जाते हैं. बट हाउ कैन जगन्नाथ स्लीप? His devotees are hungry, sleeping with children. He has come thinking of him, depending on him, and how can he sleep? So he comes out in the wish of a Brahmin in white robes with Mahaprasad in a big thali. And he comes और बोला कि अंदर से तुम्हारा दोस्त ने भेजा है, खाओ. मिसेस को बोलती कि देखो मैंने बोला था, तब वो चौड़े में फैल गया वो. तो सब लोग खाते हैं अच्छे से, पेट भर के खाना वाना खा के इस थाली को लेके भाई साहब अपने सर के नीचे दे के सो जाते हैं. अगले दिन जब मंदिर खुलता है और जो बाहिर भंडार है, चलंती भंडार है, there are three. Ratna Bhandar is divided into three categories:
Yeah.
outer, inner, and the chalanti. Chalanti is जो रेगुलर का चलता का चीजें रखा जाता है जिसमें. जो चलंती भंडार से वो थाली गायब, महाप्रभु का थाली गायब, हरकंप मच गया. उतना बड़ा सोने का थाली, राजा को खबर गया, राजा भाग के आया, सब सेवायत भाग के आए, ढूंढो. सब लोग ढूंढने लग गए, फौज को लगा दिया ढूंढने में. करते करते एक सेवायत का आंखों में गिरा कि ये बंदा इधर सोया हुआ है, उसका सर के नीचे वो ताली है. जो होना था वही हुआ. पकड़ के ले गए उसको, जेल में डाल दिया, खूब मरम्मत हुआ उसका. देन दैट नाइट जगन्नाथ महाप्रभु appears in the dream of Gajapati and tells him that if you don't release him right now, तुम निर्वंश हो जाओगे. तुम तो जाओगे ही, तुम्हारा राजयोगी जाएगा और तुम निर्वंश हो जाओगे.
You won't have any progeny.
रौद्र रूप में. तो तुम कौन होते हो मेरा और मेरे भक्त के बीच में आने वाला? मैंने उसको खाना खाने दिया, मेरा प्रसाद उसको मैंने दिया, तुम कौन होते हो? Who the hell are you? हिम्मत कैसे हुआ? ये बंदा भाग के आया, इसको बेइज्जत रिहा किया, जेल से निकाला, उसका अच्छे से उसको सजाया धजाया, नहाया, खाना खिलाया और उसको जगा दिया पुरी में रहने के लिए, जस्ट ऑपोजिट टू द साउथ गेट. अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट portion is now demolished because of the Jagannath corridor. I'll tell you an incident where I took a band of senior professors from Delhi University since I do heritage walks at times, to Jagannath Puri. And before going inside the temple, before going inside for Darshan, main sanctum sanctorium, I just told them that look into his eyes. इसमें एक थे जो डिफेंस का बिजनेस में थे, डिटेल्स नहीं बोलूंगा ऑफ कोर्स कौन सा बिजनेस है, बट शी वाज अ एथेइस्ट, नॉट एट ऑल रिलीजियस. मंदिर देखने आया हूँ, इन आर्किटेक्चर आइकोनोग्राफी ये सब के लिए. दूसरा एक था बहुत भक्तिमती थी, तीसरा जो बाकी तीन भक्ति, और एक था जो ठीक है ये है वो है. जब दर्शन करके बाहर आए, एथेइस्ट है जो डिफेंस का व्यवसायी है, she told me that Surya, I've never experienced something like this. My feet became heavy. पत्थर जैसा हो गया, मैं मूव ही नहीं कर पा रहा था वहां से. The other who was kind of ठीक है नहीं है टाइप्स बीच का, she was crying continuously. ये है जगन्नाथ. I have experienced a lot in my life, and I will tell you one incident out of it, that how Jagrat is if you can call him from your heart. This was 2009. I had joined one of the IT companies in 2008, and immediately after joining, the recession had hit the IT industry, which is well known. And you can relate, anybody in the audience can relate. We took, I think, 5 to 7% salary cut. That was a good quantum of money from a monthly salary, but even then we did. And 2008 पूरा निकल गया. 2009 का जब टाइम आया, अराउंड नवंबर दिसंबर, कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं मिल रहा था इंक्रीमेंट होगा नहीं होगा. एंड देन बाय फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ दिसंबर द डिसीजन केम, कोई इंक्रीमेंट इस बार भी नहीं. एंड बाय दैट टाइम आई हैड बुक माई टिकट्स फॉर जगन्नाथ पुरी. माई सन वॉज हार्डली 5 years old देन. तो मैं गया दर्शन करने. That was, I think, almost after 20-25 years that I was going to Puri. And दर्शन किए, अच्छे से दर्शन हुआ, भीड़ था, कर लिया मैनेज. दर्शन किए अच्छे से. एंड came back very satisfied. Then in one of the days while we were having dinner, I told my wife that I want to go again next year same time, which is 2010 December again. एंड शी सेड कि कहाँ से होगा, बच्चा बड़ा हो रहा है, जैसा हाउस होल्ड में बातें होता है, उसका फीस है, तुम्हारा सैलरी कट चल रहा है, आई एम नॉट वर्किंग, शी वॉज अर्लियर वर्किंग देन लेफ्ट फॉर द बेबी. आई सेड की बात तो सही है, हार्ड फैक्ट ऑफ लाइफ, आई हैड टू डाइजेस्ट. एंड मेरी आंखें खोल गया अगले दिन सुबह 4 बजे. आई डोंट नो व्हाई इट हैपेंड. एंड लाइंग इन द बेड, कमरे के अंधेरे में, डार्क रूम, आई वॉज थिंकिंग ओनली वन चिंतन हैड हिट मी कि मैं अगले साल चाहते हुए भी नहीं जा पाऊंगा, प्रभु का दर्शन नहीं कर पाऊंगा. और ये बात सोच के मेरा इधर इतना दर्द हुआ कि मेरे दोनों आंखों से पानी की तरह आंसू बहने लग गए. And this is the first time I'm sharing this incident of many spiritual encounters that I had had. ठीक है, क्या कर सकते हैं, रोया कुछ देर तक एंड फिर सो गया दोबारा. 2 days. Suddenly after lunch, our boss called everyone of the department कि आ जाओ, एक important information share करना है which will make you feel happy. क्या है, असली चीज तो जो होना था कांड कर दिया इन्होंने, अब क्या है. गए सब लोग बैठे तो बोले एक अच्छी खबर है, इंक्रीमेंट्स हो रहा है. अच्छा है, कितना होगा, 5% 7%, जो लिया था वही वापस करेगा, नेचुरल सी बात है. एंड बॉस ने बोला कि द डिसीजन हैज बीन मेड दैट ओनली द ब्रिक कंट्रीज, BRIC, ब्राजील, रशिया, इंडिया, चाइना, these are emerging markets, so the company has decided to go for increments for all employees of all categories to have a moral booster motivation, because otherwise 2 साल with this kind of pressure people will attrition शुरू हो जाएगा. तो बाकी आप लोगों का जिसका जो हिस्से में गिरा है वो मैं आपको अलग से बताऊंगा. So obviously we had our 1-to-1. So when I had my 1-to-1, I was given some 27% increment. As I came out of the room, I was trembling because the figures that were divulged to me were sufficient for me to fund my travels to Puri for the next 3 years. That is what Jagannath is. He is Narsimha. In 2014, as the Adap Mandap BJ was happening, Adap Mandap BJ is the event where in front of the Gundicha temple, from the chariot he alights and goes inside the Gundicha temple where he stays for 1 week. It's the Janma Bedi. I had gone to see the Pahandi BJ, the process or the event through which he is commemorated and taken inside. And I had gone with my people, and the security was too tight and they were not allowing me to get inside. My person, who was one of the Sevites, he kept pleading and all that stuff. No, nothing. And all camera and मीडिया वाले सब दरवाजे के ऊपर बैठे हुए हैं. मैं तो मन में बोला आज तो मैं गया, मीडिया में भी मेरा नाम उछालेगा, पिक्चर भी जाएगा, बाकी जेल जो जाना है जाएंगे. Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu. If he decides that I want you, nobody can stop you. That is why it is said that when your call comes, nobody can stop you. Suddenly from nowhere, from inside the temple, one of his friends appear, Sevite's friend, one of the most ferocious servitors of Jagannath. I will not take his name. And he appears in a Rudra Murti. Absolute Rudra Murti. And he comes and fights with the officer who was there, said, अंदर 200 लोग बैठा हुआ है, ये एक लड़का अंदर जाएगा तो क्या खराब हो जाएगा. उधर से पीछे से आप दूसरे दरवाजे से बाकी लोगों को आप लोग पैसा खा के अंदर करवा रहे हो, और इधर से कोई जाना चाहता है, वो भी एक आदमी, झुंड नहीं, not 10-15 people, just one person, what will happen? They started altercating and he was ferocious. And suddenly what he did, he just picked me up from my back, here, ऐसे
अच्छा.
यहाँ से पकड़ा मेरे को ऐसे और एक धक्का मारा. Believe me, that force was so high दैट फोर्स वॉज सो हाई, मेरे जिंदगी में इतना बड़ा धक्का कभी खाया नहीं. एक धक्के में कम से कम में 10 से 12 फीट अंदर चला गया दरवाजा क्रॉस करके. आई एम 6'1". आई वॉज इक्वली वेल बिल्ड दैट टाइम. एंड कितना पावर दिया होगा, और वो बंदा है 5 फीट 6-7 इंच, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होगा. चला गया अंदर और दर्शन हुआ 3 फीट दूर से.
I want to speak to you about the Ratna Bhandar, which is the temple treasury. It's been under the scanner in recent times. So it is said that the total value of the temple treasury is never known. It's never audited. It's never fully opened. And if reports are to be believed, then the wealth in these vaults comes to around 63,000 crores. Now, tell me, why do you think these are not audited figures? Why do you think there has been a reservation to be open about the wealth in these vaults?
Okay, so see, first of all, the conservation that ASI was doing has now been completed in Ratna Bhandar. It's completed. The press reports are there, and ASI has given details of what all developments, additions, rectifications, preservations, whatever they have done. They have given a complete details: how many beams, how many stones, what type of stones, everything they have given. Because they had done a survey in the initial days through endoscopic cameras to find out the cracks which were through which water seepage was happening, and maximum damage happened from there. Those cracks were indicated through endoscopic cameras. Now, as far as the Ratna Bhandar is concerned, as I said a few moments earlier, that it is into 3 parts, divided into 3 parts: the inner, outer, and the chalanti, the regular. 63,000 crore that is being given out is a figure which is very, very low level or a conservative approximation.
Oh.
Till date, not even the Britishers, starting from 1805, when the first known audit happened under Charles Crome, the Puri collector, no proper valuation could be done. Britishers could have given some XYZ figures, but those are not correct figures. The whole and sole reason for this is some of the Ratnas, as per Garur Puran, there are 35 categories of Ratnas. And out of those 35 categories, 9 are main, which are called the Navaratnas. This concept of Navaratna, Akbar ka Kot mein Navaratna, Todarmal, and all these people, or even Raja Vikramaditya ka Navaratna, or Ashok ka Navaratna, or whatever, all these concepts of Navaratna comes from Garud Puran. Some of these diamonds, jewels, rubies are so priceless that it cannot be judged. And iska sabse acha ek, I'll just give you one anecdote which will help you to understand what exactly I'm saying. Is in 1978, when prior to this audit, the last audit happened, the last 3 or 4 days, there was a Swarnakar who was summoned from Tirupati Balaji. And he was an experienced man and a very senior person. And he started doing his work, and he did not even put his hand in the inner Ratna Bhandar. वो outer में ही अटक गया. And after 3 or 4 days, he dropped all his work. He stopped doing all his work, and he went to because Ratna Bhandar is very close to the Garbhagriha or the Sanctum Sanctorium. It is somewhere in the Jagmohan and the printings of it. He went to the Garbhagriha, sat there and started crying. He was profusely crying and continuously crying. So when the other servitors came and asked him that what happened, why are you crying? Because they were all perplexed कि भाई ये इतना मोटा काम करने आया है, such a critical job he's handling. Why is he crying? Did something go wrong? Anything fault on our side? So everybody is tensed. So then he said that Jagannath Mahaprabhu is truly Parabrahma. You said of the concept of limitless.
Yeah.
That is Parabrahma.
Yeah.
Why do you say so? No, this Jagannath Mahaprabhu, he wears over here, all the 3 deities, they wear a chita. It is called chita. Okay. Conical shaped structure with lot of jewels inside it, diamonds or jewels sort of inside the chita. The chita has one particular diamond which is undercover. Usko pralep, chandan ka pralep laga ke rakhte hai usko. That diamond is so strong. It is so strong that if any human wears it, will melt. And the Swarnkar said that I have never seen any diamond in my entire life in anywhere in the globe of this type. And this is not from this world. It does not, it defies all the lists that we have for all known jewels in this world, in this mortal world. And he is wearing that diamond.
He meaning?
Mahaprabhu. That diamond which can melt a person, a human, within minutes or within hours.
You mean the idol is wearing the...
The Chitta
Yeah.
here. On the night before Devasnan Purnima,
Huh.
it is taken out and it is again put back on Amavasya day, which is called Chitta. The event is called Chitta Lagi Amavasya. Chitta Lagi means Chitta ko lagana. So it is put back, reinstated.
So I'm sure scientists are looking into this. Do they get an opportunity to study and you can't touch it at all?
No, you can't. There is one Ramabhishek Mohar that was minted by Bhoi King Ramchandra Dev I with the signage of Sri Rama, and he was also Ramchandra Dev. It is called Ramabhishek Mohar. It is, I think if I correctly remember, it has imprint of Sri Rama's coronation. That is why it is called Ramabhishek, Ram ka Abhishek. If I correctly remember, I can be wrong because there's so many details, today. So there's one such specimen left. Other rest were looted.
Oh, okay.
The rest were looted. So during the Rath Yatra, there is one particular day after the return journey when he comes back on the Ekadashi day, the Devsayan Ekadashi, the Sunavesh is celebrated, where the three deities or the four deities are decked up with huge ornaments and golden ornaments. You must have seen it, the Sunavesh. It is taken out from the treasury and the idols are decorated. Okay, the Sunavesh. Well, lots of pictures available on the internet. This event actually started from the year 1468 or 69 when Gajapati Kapilendra Dev Rautre came back after his Deccan expedition with 16 elephants loaded with jewels. All this he gave it to the temple and asked the temple Sevayat to have them recasted for Mahaprabhu.
Uh-huh.
So there were some 140 plus types of jewels that were made.
Okay. So
Ornaments.
all these jewels are basically contributions done by the royal patrons?
Yes.
Okay.
There are contributions by ordinary men also.
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं कि आप भी जाके दे सकते हैं.
Nee, but just all these unique diamonds and
हाँ,
all of that.
But some have come for unknown sources. You don't know. Even the Nepal royal family has given. After the Gajapati, the maximum power that is there on Mahaprabhu's Riti Nitis and to go and do Aarti or have a darshan from a close range and all that, it is the Nepal royal family. Because they give the kasturi. They contribute the kasturi. And when the temple was being made, there are 1,000 shaligrams from the Garur's thumb to the Ratna Singhasan beneath the floor. The 1,000 shaligrams laid. Those were given by the Nepal royal family. And that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never used to cross the Guru's thumb to go and have darshan. Because he would otherwise step on a shaligram.
How much do the priests in Jagannath Temple make? Are they moneyed? Because I've heard that a lot of these priests in these top tier temples, are moneyed people. Is that true?
Yes, many of the servitors are pretty wealthy.
Okay.
Pretty wealthy, but at the same time, all of the servitors, depending on the category of services and their ranks, etc., they are salaried people.
Okay.
The Shri Jagannath Temple administration does give them a salary, monthly salary.
But I'm assuming the donations itself must amount to so much.
That is whatever individual dakshina they are getting from their individual or personal judgments, that is different.
Okay.
But the temple has a salary defined for them, and the temple is managed today under the Shri Jagannath Temple Act of 1959.
Okay. But is it true that, I don't know about this, that the salaries, like in the armed forces, for example, or civil servants, you will have a structure.
It
right?
is there.
Slabs.
There's
So
a
the
band.
slabs
There's a band.
Across temples, it's going to be the same band, or does it vary?
It depends on the temple administration and the state government.
Okay.
And the local monarchy, if any local monarchy is involved in it. So there are certain criteria to decide, and there are joint discussions based on that. It happens. So it's an elaborate process. So it is under the temple administration.
In closing, either I'm a first timer who's going to Puri, or I'm an ignorant person who has no knowledge about what needs to be done. How would you guide that person towards Jagannath? how should they conduct their darshan and pradakshina or whatever are the intricacies?
First, go and have a darshan of Adi Narasimha, the temple which is located behind the Gundicha temple. That is the place where Jagannath came out in a manifestation of Ugra Narasimha and had given darshan to Brahma and King Indradumna. Then go and have a darshan of Loknath Mahadev. Loknath Mahadev is the keeper of the treasury of Shri Jagannath and a manifestation of Madhyam Pandav Bhim. All the Panchapandav are there in Puri. Jameshwar Mahadev, Yudhishthir. Loknath Mahadev, Bhim. Nakuleshwar Mahadev, Arjun. Loknath Mahadev gets his name from Lokinath, Loki. Sri Ram, when during his Vanvas had come to Puri, had built or established two Shiva temples. One is Beleshwar Mahadev near Konark from a bale, and the one is Lokinath where a Sabarpalli was there. He went into that Sabarpalli, the Sabars gave him a Loki to worship. He developed a lingam out of that. That is how it became to be known as Lokinath, and then it got developed into Loknath. The lingam is always underwater throughout the year, covered by snakes. It only comes out once in a year. Should go to Loknath Mahadev and then come to Jagannath Mahaprabhu and have a darshan of everything, have Mahaprasad. And after that, they should go and have a darshan at Gambhira, the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stay. He was the Sachal Jagannath. The Sakal, the Udiyas revered him as the Sachal Jagannath because of all the leelas that he did over there. He once pushed, the chariot was not starting, he once pushed it with his forehead. The chariot started.
Okay.
Now, the concept of Jagannath, the name Jagannath came at a much later date. It came around in 15th century. Prior to that, it was Madhav or Purushottam.
Okay, why?
Because it was Madhav. From Nila Madhav, the Skanda Puran, that Brahmapada took the shape of Nila Madhav. And if you historically see, this Mahanadi Basin had been practicing Madhav worship in three forms: Nila Madhav, Lalit Madhav, Radha Madhav. These
And
three.
to the viewers, can you simplify this? What is the Madhav worship?
Madhav in various forms, various manifestations of Madhav.
Madhav is which god exactly?
Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, the four-armed Vishnu deity. Okay, Madhav. This is historically proven, archaeologically proven basis, and there are sites and temples available today. In some of those temples, even I travel and go. So one of those places that is associated with this legend is Nayagar. There's a place in Nayagar called Kantilo Nilamadhav. Okay, and on the banks of Mahanadi, on a river terrain, and as per the Skanda Puran, that hillock is called Brahmadri Parvat, because Brahma had worshipped over there, Havan kiye the, and that is named after Brahma, and Brahmadri Parvat on atop Nilamadhav resides and is being worshipped today. And it is a four-armed Vishnu deity, and it is said that when you go for darshan of Jagannath, you should actually first have a darshan of Nilamadhav in Kantilo.
Okay.
Kantilo is around 90 odd kilometers from Bhubaneswar, and it takes a day. If you go and have darshan and come back, it takes a complete day. Terrain is very tough. Not everybody can go. But once you reach there, it is comfortable. But again, you'll have to climb up, basically. And the scenery, the topography over there is absolutely like a tapobhumi. So huge 8-kilometer Mahanadi stretching. On the banks is the hillock. And on top of the hillock, there is a small jungle. And in the midst of the jungle is the temple. And Nilamadhav's energy, of course, all energetically, all are the manifestations in different forms and from the same energy. Okay.
Yeah.
It is Sri Vishnu in terms of Vaishnavism.
So I visit all these places, and is there any specific way to do the darshan?
Go in the morning.
Okay. Empty stomach, or I can have a meal?
Should preferably with an empty stomach.
Okay. Take a bath, empty stomach, any specific kind of clothes? Because I understand that clothes can,
Best is dhoti, otherwise at least a kurta pajama.
Okay.
If
Anything which
anybody
is
can't
loose,
wear with
comfortable.
dhoti or not comfortable with dhoti, cannot manage a dhoti,
Okay.
it gets entangled. मेरा ही होता है कितनी बार. So dhoti kurte mein jaiye and go there with an empty stomach, have darshan, but have darshan of two places apart from all the places that you see, very minutely and with all your heart. One is the Kalpavat and the Bal Gopal beneath the Kalpavat. The Bal Gopal Vigraha is holding its left leg, the main finger, index finger, and is like this. No, it's pulling on, जैसे बच्चे खाते हैं अपने.
Correct.
It comes from the fact of Markandeya Puran. Batasya patrasya pute sayanam balam mukundam manasa swarami. The Govindashtakam. That is the Rupa in which Markandeya, Maharshi Markandeya, had a darshan in the time during the time of Mahapralaya. That he was in a Bal Roop on a Batapatra. The Kalpavat is a Bat. That Kalpavat was also burned down by Kalapahar. Now, what is that? Is come up from the sapling.
Okay.
So have a darshan of the Kalpavat and have a darshan of this, and then go to Rohini Kunda, from where it is believed the waters had come out during the great deluge.
Okay. Perfect. Any other practical tips that you would like to leave our audience with when visiting Jagannath?
Don't carry your mobile. Get immersed in his thoughts and prayers and bhakti. Don't carry anything leather or purse. Just keep some loose coins and notes with you. Try to go and sit in the Snana Mandap, which is there in the Ananda Bazaar, and have a darshan of the main temple from there. It's a beautiful sight. The Adi Adi Anadi, the concept of Adi Adi Anadi, Ananta, is actually felt from that point.
Yeah.
The formless, the limitless stuff that you mentioned. Have a darshan from there.
Sure thing. Surya ji, this has been such a pleasure. And as you rightly mentioned, I think we would love to do a series. We've covered Jagannath in totality. And
No,
it's
you have
been-
not even
No?
scratched its back.
Ooh. तो अगली बार आपको पूरा मसाज करनी पड़ेगी.
पूरा दिन निकल जाएगा.
No, but I'm at least satisfied that we've been able to touch the points which,
Yes.
of our a certain takeaway for
Yes,
the
of
audience,
course.
right?
Yes, of course.
And justifying the theme, which was mystery and secrets and the hidden truths. So I think we've been able to do some kind of a justice with that. It's been wonderful. So viewers, if you would like to know more about other such kind of temples, then you can leave your comments, and we'd love to have Surya ji, of course, if he's willing, for another round, another podcast, and hopefully cover many such temples, because we're a wealth of temples. I think it's time that we revive Sanatan Dharma in its authenticity, in its proper depth and vibrance, without any distortion. So thank you so much, Surya ji. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Namaskaram.
In case you'd like to be a part of our online and in-person yoga, diet and spiritual programs, you can join our WhatsApp group below, where we post all our upcoming programs and give free tips on health, diet and lifestyle.